Well, hello guys, today we're gonna have again another Raijintek cooler review. This time we have the Leto, which is available with fans with white, red and blue RGB. As you can see, this is a bigger CPU cooler. It has 120mm fan and it is also coated in black, which means it doesn't have that usual metal color of CPU coolers, making it easier for you to color coordinate your computer build. On the front part we have a picture of the cooler alongside the name. On the side we can see two pictures of this cooler, which also uses the direct heat pipe technique on the base. On the back we have the specifications of this product. We can see that it is compatible with all Intel sockets alongside all AMD sockets. We have, for example, FM2 and AM4, which are the most well-known sockets and needed by now. And on the side we can see that we have different versions of this cooler, and in this case the version that we have for review is the one with the red LED. On the top we see that it is a 120mm slim cooler. It also has some other interesting features on top. So let's open it up and see what's inside. As always, we have these screws to help you build the cooler, alongside the second packaging, which have the different back plates and stuff. And it's time to reveal the cooler. We take this off. Here comes the fan. You can see that it is translucent, so you can see the LEDs better, and it is obviously a 4-pin PWM fan. And here we have the Leto. The Leto is finished in this amazing black color. It looks really good. And on the back you see the 3 direct heat pipes from each side contacting directly on the cooler. We have the Raijintek logo on top, and I really enjoy the finish of this cooler. It looks really different and it looks really nice. So to sum it up, here we have the contents of this case: the fan, the cooler, the manual over here, the screws to install, and the back plate. So up next I'm gonna show you how to install this cooler on a Intel 3570K system. So see you in a bit. So now we're installing the Raijintek Leto, and as you see we have already got the back plate on with the long threaded screws. As they wobble a bit because they're not really secure, you need to be sure that you're pushing the screws from the back in order to get a tight fix on each one of the long threaded screws with your nuts. You need to check your nuts after you have installed every single one of them to make sure that they're tight, and in order to give you the best installation of the Leto and the most surface contact on the cooler. The next part is basically just you slap on those little metal plates and then you put on the threaded metal nuts. As I've said before, it's really important to make sure that you fasten them evenly, because you want them to be vertical to each other, which means they're parallel to each other, in order for the cooler to have the best line of contact. Up next we have already got installed a little bit of thermal paste, so now you just snug it in the cooler, shake it a bit, and then you fasten each one of the screws in both sides of the plate, as we are showing here. The next step after putting on the cooler is basically you got the fan, and you get the rubber grommets and then pull them into the fan. I'm just putting them on each side for you guys to make sure that you understand how it works. Then the little rubber grommets will fit onto the heatsink like they did beforehand with the Raijintek Letos. So as you see, you just pull it through and it's really easy. So you just do this on the 4 sides in order to have the best contact. So this is the Raijintek Leto in functioning. As you can see, the 120mm fan is really quiet, but you also got this red LED, which is one of the variations of the Leto, and it works really well. I'm just giving you a closer look here, but it's a really quiet fan. So now I'm going to talk a bit about the results of the Leto. As you can see on this table, you see that the Leto has really good performance comparing to the other coolers in this stock test, because I guess it's a 120mm fan that is not really noisy, which means it can dissipate well when you don't have enough heat. Same doesn't happen on an overclocked scenario, because I think that maybe the fan cannot push enough air into the fins, but the Leto falls a bit behind. But we have to bear in mind that this cooler is only 30 euros, which comparing to other coolers on this list, it's really less expensive. As for acoustic performance, we can see that the Leto both at 100% is really less noisy than the Eidos, and at 50% it's almost inaudible. So as in conclusion, we think that the Leto is really good for its aesthetics, and if you want a silent cooler. For those of you that are looking for maximum overclocking performance, for example overclocking your Kaby Lake to 5 gigs, I think you will need a beefier cooler like an Octo D NH-D15. But for those of you that just want something that looks nice, I think that the Raijintek Leto is a really good option because it can do moderate overclocks and it's really silent. It's one of the most silent coolers that I've heard recently. So as always, if you have anything to ask to us, just let us know, leave a comment, and like and share this video with your friends, and see you in the next video, guys.